All right. Good morning, folks. Good morning, Mayank, Chandan, Kuldeep. Welcome to the panel discussion on 100 days of running, and welcome to our audience, right, who are waiting for this session. How are
Good
you
morning.
guys doing?
Good morning, Tanvir. Good morning,
Hi.
everyone.
Hey,
Good
man.
morning, everyone.
So, how did this session come about, right? Maybe I would like to, quickly talk about this with the audience, with those people who are watching this session today. The goal for us, guys, for this session, and that's what I discussed with the team here, which we have, all these people, Chandan Khanna, Mayank Gupta, Kuldeep Bhargava, and myself are part of the core organizing team of 100 days of running. A couple of us being the founders of the event as well. So the goal for us was to interact with the participants, to communicate what is happening with this edition of 100 days, which is going to start with on July the 24th. And just here talk about the various elements of this event, what makes it unique, why are participants so interested in it, why is it one of India's biggest virtual running, or rather it's one of the biggest global virtual challenges. um, so that's why we wanted to do this session with all of you, and also try to hear you out, right? What do you think about it? You have been participating, many of you, for over several years. For you, some of you at least, this might have been a first event. um, More thoughts from you guys, Chandan, Mayank, about this session? Kuldeep? Yeah, this is like the format of this session is going to be a panel discussion between us. We will go through the agenda. We have a lot of topics to cover. Keep your tea ready, keep your coffee ready. It's going to be extended. This is going to take time because we have so much to talk about.
Absolutely, Tanvir. I think we are all very excited for the launch of the event, which is on 24th. And I believe before 100 days of running the event, which we did, you mentioned about the HDOR Global Fit Fest, also came out very nicely. And we got a lot of support from audiences. You can evidence for that is in the comments, and we got a lot of good comments. And I seriously hope that we'll be able to leverage these fitness tips and these workouts by the expert trainers across India. These are the things which will be helpful even during the 100 days. So I feel that personally I'm very excited, and I want to see how our audience are going to use these workout videos while participating in 100 days of running.
Yeah, I do agree with Chandan because after lockdown, people were staying inside their home and they were not able to go out, were having very limited scope for their running and all. So these sessions really helped them, charged it them, and they are all fit to run our 100 days of running.
Absolutely.
I'm also equally excited for the event.
Mayank, maybe before we actually get started, couple of minutes about talking about the event history. Maybe how have we reached where we are right now? It's been 7 years, right?
Yeah,
We have been doing this event, and we used to do this event on an Excel sheet. We remember the
yes,
good old days. How has that been journey been for us?
yeah.
It's a
No,
radical
it's
transformation,
like,
and you are one of those key pillars on which this entire thing has happened.
yeah, I think it has been a wonderful journey. And, as Tanvir said, we started with an Excel sheet. I still remember the very first year when Tanvir was doing it, and I started following him up that, he's doing, let me also try. I ended up doing it for about 30, 40 odd days.
It
And
was
then I
crazy,
could
right?
not,
The data management
yeah.
was
Then the next year, both of us thought that let's do it. We started with a Google Sheet, and then we suddenly had 128 people, those who were with us, and gradually people started saying my run is not visible. We started publishing Google Sheets. Then for about, I think, for the first 3 years, we were mostly dependent on Google Sheet. It was initially a Google form, then we moved to a form based submission, then we built up our own application, and from there, it was never looking back. Now, as of now, we have, I think, one of the best infrastructures across the globe when it comes to virtual running, organizing any kind of event, whatever be, the complex the logic be. Our system, I think, the biggest thing is the capability to handle any kind of event, the transparency which we bring on the table, and we have been working towards getting it more and more transparent and friendly to our participants. So yes, looking forward to the seventh edition and completely geared up for the 100 days.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thanks, Mayank. So let's get started, right? We have a lot of things to talk about, and parts, and our audience definitely want to know about. Uh, and before, okay, let me first share the slide deck we are going to start off with, and then I would like to remind all of the audience here that this is the time for you to ask questions, right? So we will go section by section, and if you have any comments, any thoughts about that section, I mean, we can take the general questions at the very end of the session, but I would prefer if we stick to the questions relevant to the section we are talking about, and then we keep on moving it, because that will maintain the continuity of this entire discussion. It will go in a nice flow of its own. So let's get started. I will share uh, the slide to get us started. uh, Guys, can we see the slides?
Yeah,
Let's and what format looks better, this one or the side panel one?
I think both are fine.
Both are fine. Let's go with this, right? I think this is looking good. Yeah. All right. So what we are going to do is we are going to try to cover this agenda, right? There are a lot of points which we already communicated on the social channels and on email. We did a participant poll recently. We'll talk about that. The event rules and changes for this year. What are the new challenges? What are the new activity tracking apps we have for this year? The awards, the contests, charity, moderation, COVID-19 medal, and we'll finally, we have a lot of content to go through. So without taking too much time, let's get started with the participant poll. So this is what we did very recently, asking participants what is their idea about 100 days, what is keeping them motivated, and what are the challenges they see. So we had a lot of questions, and participants had their own answers about all of this, which we have tried to summarize, okay, and capture here in front of you. And this, let's go through some of those uh, things here. So first of all, we started with how many years have you been running, right? We asked our typical participant, and this data sort of presents that. So guys, what's the interesting part of, obviously we see that a lot of newcomers who are beginning their running journey, they are interested in doing 100 days of running. So that's definitely pointing out to something, guys. What do you say? What's the motivation here for the newcomers?
I think the biggest motivation for a newcomer is that the on the face of it the challenge looks simple, and we're not talking about running 10, 21 kilometers. We're talking about running 2 kilometers a day. So something which looks doable, achievable, and then the best thing is that it is helping a newbie to form a habit. And again, since it's virtual, he gets connected to so many people, and we have like every year we get a huge percentage of beginners, and we have numerous stories around that I started my running journey with 100 days of running and how it built up from there. So I believe the simplicity and the opportunity to build up a habit is is one of the two key elements which attract the business.
Yeah, so 0 to 2 years, we see like the biggest chunk of this of the people, of the participants, are between 0 to 2 years of running, 2 to 4 years, then 4 to 6 years. So all of these, 8 to all going all the way to 10 years, and you can see some big numbers here, right? People have been running for like 20, 30, 40 years, right? We have those sort of people also who have been spending so much time, and they come back to this event. So some fascinating insight about the participants and their journey and their aspirations, right? When we started, I think Mike can probably go back to that again, that when we started, we started this event not as a it's a big challenge or something, right? When we started this event, the only goal for us, personal goals. Now we're not talking about, we are not talking about audience, we are not talking about participants, we were talking about our own goals, right? And Mike, what was that?
So, during those days, about 7 years back, we never used to have so many running events the way we have it today. and the time frame from April to August was kind of a peak summers in North India and off season kind of thing. So the idea was to keep ourselves going, to keep to keep the tempo going and don't lose on your fitness levels, and just to maintain that consistency. And that's where the idea of 2 kilometers came up. Just go out. So where we live, we had a park which was about 1.1 kilometers from our place. So the idea was just go there and come back. It's 2 kilometers, 15 minutes of time. Do it anytime during the day, and yes.
Hmm.
And you don't when you reach August, when you start looking up to your big running events, then you are not starting from zero. You have maintained your fitness levels, you have maintained your running streak, and yeah, that was the main the agenda behind, or the main personal goal behind this event.
Absolutely. Okay.
Tanvir, a
What's
small
Mhm,
request, if we can
mhm.
just change the layout, because the logo is coming on your face, so
Should I
probably that's not
hide the
visible.
logo
Yeah.
for now? That
Yeah,
should be
we can
okay.
either hide the logo.
Let's
Yeah,
do that.
now that's better.
So let's go to the next one. What was the longest distance people have run, right? Let's see. Who wants to take this up? What does it show, right? The longest distance, as you can see, we have a few pillars. I can point it out to the audience that we see a few pillars here, and one of those pillars are around 10 kilometers mark. Another pillar is around 21
Mm,
kilometers
Notice now.
mark, and another one around 42. And we
Yeah,
have some big distances also. So uh, people have a variety of this longest distance covered as part of this. Kuldeep, where do you reside on this pillar?
42.
42. Okay, good to hear that. When was
yep.
that? When did you run your first marathon?
19 TMM 2019.
19 p.m. So all of us in the organizing team are marathoners and half marathons. So that's the key thing for us, and that is something we are proud of. All of us, Chandan, Kuldeep, Mayank, and me, have done half
And,
marathons or marathons or beyond, right?
and also
Multiple
Yeah,
I can
times.
say that I also started my journey with SDR only in 2017.
Excellent. All right.
So
Chandan, you had something to say?
it's very interesting, Danveer, that a graph before this shows us that most of the people are the ones who are going to start their running journey, and this graph shows us that most of the people like running at least 10 kilometers, and most the first distance which is most favored, it's around 10 kilometers and 21 kilometers. So this says a lot about the event, right?
Right.
It says that there are people, guys, there are people who are, this is for all the newcomers, right? There are people, there are a lot of people like you who are going to start the journey, right? And there are a lot of people who started this journey and have started liking distances like 21 and 42 kilometers, right? It says a lot, the two graphs, if you put them together.
Absolutely. And maybe some of this towers you see might be your goals, right? And maybe you are starting on the leftmost side of this tower, and gradually by the end of 100 days, you want to progress to the next one, or the next one, or the next one. So
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
our audience would have many goals, different sorts of goals, and they want to go to that next level. And obviously, everybody starts small, everybody starts low, and gradually, with consistency, that is something which we promote with this event. They are going to achieve new highs, and these highs is what you see on this graph, basically. All
correct.
right. Mhm. Okay. So the previous graph was about the highest the longest distance which people have actually run, right? And that can be significant distances, but this is about your favorite running distance. It may not be the same, right? So again, this graph is sort of tallying with the previous graph, Chandan.
Yeah, absolutely. You see that
Mhm.
people
The five
have,
stands out. The five
right?
stands out here.
Yeah, five.
Hmm.
Because see, I think all of us are in a working. We all have our own duties of work and family. And
Hmm.
I personally, my favorite is also 5 kilometers, because what is 5 kilometers, right? It's just a commitment of half an hour.
Right.
Half an hour, you're done with your warm up. Quick warm up, go for a run, complete your 5 kilometers. Maybe no, not if not 30 minutes, then 40 minutes maximum.
Mhm.
But in an hour, you're done, and you can
Right.
get to your business. Right? That is what we are. That's the entire motive of SDR, right? Tanveer
Right.
and man, to have fitness as a part of your routine, not as
Yeah.
something for which you have to take out time. Something which is less disruptive in your daily routines, right?
Absolutely.
Also, I
Kuldeep.
want to add here, like
Mhm.
this 5 kilometer and 10 kilometer are part of many training schedules also. So after joining 100 days, people get into a fitness process. They start following a training plan, and these are the very common distance in most of the training plans.
Yeah, that's also true.
Right. So there are some interesting numbers at the very end, right? I see 50 kilometers is a favorite distance. So which tells us there are, established ultra runners in this community also
Yeah.
who do not look at 2 kilometers or 5 kilometers. They are different people, right? Every there are different categories of people. There are people with different aspirations, right? My aspiration may not be the same as your aspiration, right? Your goals are different. You want to do amazingly long distances, and that's what excites you. uh, as a beginner, maybe that does not excite me. My goal is to be consistent. So it's interesting to see that we have a good mix of all these people. There are people here who have done 100 kilometers or more, as we can see on the last pillar. So a lot of interesting stuff in this graph. Okay, let's move to the next one. Overall distance goal in mind for this edition. What are people looking to do in this edition in terms of total 100 days? We are not talking about a single day, we are talking about the entire duration. What stands out here, folks? We can ignore the first few lines because they are probably incorrect data, so let's not worry about that. But in general, let's focus starting from 200 kilometers distance, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so again, this translates back to the previous two slides where we were talking about the favorite distance, and I think the biggest pillar standing here is around 500 kilometers, which again translates to like a 5 kilometer type of a run a daily.
So
So
that's a
as
goal for a
Chandan
lot of
said,
people.
yeah, that's a
Uh-huh.
goal for a lot of the people, and
Uh-huh.
it's a decent goal to have. It's not something which is very probably easy to do, and but this is something which is manageable. In today's time, everyone is short of time, and as Chandan said, having something which is realistic, it makes it easy for us to go and keep up to it.
And we
And
have
then
this
yes, the other big figure is I think the 1,000, which is
1,000.
the
Yeah, that's the.
yeah yeah. So
Yeah.
people, those who have, I think those who are into their second or third edition, those who have already done 500, 600, 700 kilometers, they are looking forward to that 1,000 kilometer mark. And for this year, even I am, for the first time, even I am thinking that let me go and push myself for that 1,000 kilometer mark.
Man, you didn't
So,
tell us this, man. We should have planned this together.
so yes,
Yeah, but let's not get too driven by those big numbers, right? That's
exactly,
again
yes,
what I want to come back to. Let's take a look at the pillar where which says that a lot of participants want to do 200 kilometers, 300
200
kilometers in this entire
kilometers.
100 days, and I am very proud of them. I'm very proud of them
Yes,
because they are
yeah,
taking an amazing big step, starting from almost scratch with no really running background or maybe very minimal. They want to do something, and that's the lifestyle
that's
change which is
the
going to happen there.
yes. So the
Sandeep,
key is to do all 100 days. That's the
yeah,
most important thing. Yeah,
absolutely.
Chandan.
Tanvi, do you want to suggest something to the newcomers here that should they be what is the distance should they be aiming at, or should they be aiming at doing the 100 days consistently? I mean, this question is for both Tanvir and Mind. Yeah, what do you guys say? You guys are the veterans of 100 days of running, right? What do you suggest?
So for newcomers, again, for people who are just getting into running, right?
Yeah,
How did I start? How did Mayank start? We started by running 100 meters and then walking because we got exhausted out after running those 100 meters, and then ran another 100 meters and walked another 100 meters. That is the way to for any newcomer to start, right? Start gradually, start slowly. Do not think that you are going to run 2 kilometers on the first day in one go. And there is no shame in walking. That's what I say. Even after so many years of running, I have no shame in walking today. If I'm not ready for running a 10K, I might run 5 kilometers and walk 5 kilometers if I need to,
true.
because I'm not ready. Similarly, when you are not ready for running 2 kilometers, maybe walk a kilometer or mix running and walking and reach that to 2 kilometers walk, and gradually, only gradually start converting those walks into runs. Don't push through it immediately when the event starts.
Great advice,
Yeah,
Sandeep.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. So the most important thing is don't get carried away by what your friends or people around you are doing. Focus on yourself. And as Tanvi said, the target is to do 2 kilometers. Doesn't matter whether you are running or you are walking. The target could be as simple as that. On day one, I started with 2 kilometers of walk, and on 100th day, the last day, I'll run 2 kilometers. Even that's a very good journey to have,
Absolutely.
and that
Yeah.
is something which is going to be, which is going to change your life forever. So go slow, go gradual, do what your body allows, do what what you are good at. Don't get carried away. And as people say, Rome was not built in a day. So, everyone who is running even 100 kilometer, he or she didn't start running that on day one. People have built it up over a period of time. So it's all about investing that time and energy. And as anyone and everyone can do, all of us are capable of doing anything. We have to just go slow and make sure that we don't get carried away.
Absolutely. Let's go to the next. We are almost towards the end of the poll now. Before we dive into the event rules and a lot of more interesting stuff. So this was the next question, right? What is the biggest challenge that you see in getting to 100 by 100? Right, 100 by 100 is a tough, and I don't expect everybody to be there. And I would also like to re-emphasize, it's not necessary to be there. Try to be consistent, try to do the maximum you can, try to take rest days in the form of maybe no running at all, or if you are feeling good, maybe walk 2 kilometers just to complete that distance. The key thing is 100 by 100 is a key motivator for all of us folks. I can narrate it from my experience. It drives you, it gives you a lot of energy, and that's why people want to reach there. But it is very important to reach there safely. It's very important to reach there without any injuries. It is important to maintain your fitness, right? So take days off if you want, take days easy if you want, walk some of those days. Let's see what are the challenges, guys. What stands out in terms of what people think is going to make this difficult for them? What do you see?
Sure. I think the biggest 35.5% people are claiming early or late work schedules. Yeah, this is the major challenge. And I
Yeah.
feel,
and
I mean,
and
all of us
I
come
Chandan, I can relate to that, right? I mean, the
right.
schedule or early or late may not be a challenge. I think the stress
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
comes from it is probably a bigger challenge, and I can, it affects all of us in some way or the other.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, coming from IT industry, all four of us, we can this. I mean, no one can better relate to working schedules than us, right? And virtual events are the best you can do, right? Um, this is one of the disruption which virtual events are bringing into the running industry, right? It does not matter what time you run. It does not matter where you run. You just, when you made a promise to yourself, you commit to that, right? Whether it is early in the morning or
yeah.
late in the night. It's a challenge for sure, but I think you know with the will and with the conviction, we can overcome these challenges, right?
Yeah. Kuldeep, travel is another big point, right?
Yeah. So I want to add in this first point,
Mhm,
35%. So
mhm.
yes, because of long working hours and all, we are stressed. But with my experience, I want to say, running is a de-stressing. It's a stress buster. So just go out and run for 2 kilometers. You will feel very much relieved.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
don't take it as a like burden on your head, but take it as a stress buster.
Yeah. And travel always impacts a lot, right? People
I think
plan.
I think Mayank has some stories to talk about
Yeah.
travel.
Let's hear from Mike about that.
Yeah, so definitely work schedules are tough, but yes, the most difficult thing to handle is travel. 2 years back, in 2019 edition, I was into a lot of travel. Every weekend, I used to travel to Mumbai and back. And then I remember at least 3 or 4 times when I have done my 2 kilometers on airport. Getting ready for catching a flight, and I know I have 15 minutes. So just people used to look at me. Why is this guy going here and there from one end of the airport to the other? But yes, that's what it is all about. We have many interesting stories from our
Yeah,
participants. We have people doing their 2 kilometers on a platform. They were on a train journey and they got a break of, a longer break of 20 odd minutes, and that person did his 2 kilometers on a railway platform. So we have many interesting stories. I think once Tanveer was traveling abroad and there was some time zone thing. I remember, I think it was 2016 or 17. But yes, so travel is definitely a. mm,
Travel is definitely a it's a so many interesting stories. Yeah, I remember once
yes,
when I was traveling to Singapore. So when we reached there, we
yes,
thought
both of
that
us were together.
so we had a overnight flight. So we thought that better to complete the run in the morning because by the time we reach evening, then none of us will have the energy to go for 2 kilometers. So we went to the hotel and that we asked for early check-in, but the hotel said that not possible. The people are yet to check out. So here's what we did: we took our briefcases or suitcase in the restroom of the restaurant of the hotel, and we started quickly changing. And people were wondering and waiting for us outside to come out because we were, taking our tracksuit or running shorts, running t-shirts from the suitcase and getting ready for the run. And that is the time when we started running, and the hotel staff was like thinking, what the hell is going on with these guys? I mean, today they were looking for a room, and now suddenly they're gone out for a run. That was quite interesting, right?
Yeah, so a lot of challenges, right? Travel is one piece of the puzzle, and then of course
Yeah,
family responsibilities. Mumbai rains, I see that was a very common factor. People are talking about rains can make the life challenging, and it's tough, right? It's not going to be easy. Maybe if it is heavy rains, just try to walk indoors 2 kilometers, right? We have to think out of the box on how to manage these various circumstances, because
right.
all of them are going to be tough on you, right? You have to look at creative ways about how you can work given the scenario. Everybody is going to face different challenges. It's guaranteed. It's 100 days. It's not a single day event. Everybody is going to face one challenge or the other one of these days.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So we have to think out of the box. We have to think about how we can manage all of this, given all these problems, all these situations around us. What is the simplest way? Think in terms of simplicity, right? Don't try to make things complex for you when the going is getting tough, right? Think about simple ways in which you can achieve your target, continue the momentum, and not lose heart. That's the key.
yeah.
Great tip, Amrit. That's a great advice.
So yeah, I tried to create a collage about what people were saying in terms of college. I see some other things coming out of this. Health, weather, kids. What else we can say? We can see restrictions somewhere here. We can see COVID here. So these are the kind of challenges. These are the bigger the word, the bigger people think that is going to be a challenge for them.
Hmm.
Travel, injury. So people are concerned about all these aspects. And like I said, let's try to make things simple and do try to do our best without unduly maybe exerting ourselves.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then the final question was, what positive change do you think is going to come out of these 100 days of running? How do you think it will change you? And guys, what do we see here?
I think consistency is the, being more fit and being more consistent. Basically, the event brings a lot of discipline into your life. Being consistent at, for doing something for 100 odd days,
Mhm.
hats off to anyone, everyone who has done 100 odd days. It doesn't matter whether you did 200 kilometers or 5,000 kilometers. That's obviously people, those who are doing a long mileages, they have their own, hats off to them. But yes, if you have done 100 on 100, yeah, that requires a lot of dedication, determination. And, I think from this, the positive thing, the biggest thing which is coming out is being consistent and being fit. So
Correct.
those are the two key takeaways from the event.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I agree. And
So
I
we have
think
a lot of questions, interesting questions coming up also. I think we'll come to them in the respective sessions. So I don't want to take some of those questions right now, but I'm just displaying them on the screen for you to see what are the other what are the people who are watching this session thinking about right now.
through some very interesting questions, right? And
Okay. Mhm. Yes, Chandan.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on the last slide that my expectation after completing 100 days is that I'll feel more confident mentally, right? Because it's a mental challenge, right? After a certain number of days, you feel like taking a break, but it's that your mind power which is required to follow that discipline and that consistency. After 100 days, it will be at a different level. So that is what I wanted to add. Adding on to
Okay,
what I said. Yeah.
good point. All right, let's go and move to the next section of this panel discussion, which is about the key event rules, right? A lot of participants are unsure about all of this is on the website, by the way. There is nothing which I'm going to show here which is new, but because, sometimes people miss going through the website, reading through each and every point, we would definitely like to highlight the most important ones so that, nobody's confused about what's to be done, how it's to be done, and let's see what we have here. There are two key event rules, 1 and 2. I have two slides on them which talk about uh, the basic elements, right? Kuldeep, let's maybe try to read through some of the key aspects here.
So it's a very simple rule. We have to run minimum 2 kilometers in a day. So that means we have to complete those 2 kilometers in a single go. Okay, it is not like 1 kilometer in the morning or in the evening, because if we have enabled auto sync, then it may not work. But if we are submitting it manually, then it can be done. Okay.
Absolutely. And one of the strongest points about the entire 100 days of running event is like just 2 kilometers a day is the simplest in terms of what we require from you as part of this event. But but the team has also enabled simple data submission, and probably Mayank, you might want to talk about the next 3 or 4 items which talk about the HDOR app, right? It's one of the best fitness tracking apps in terms of fitness aggregator apps, fitness reporting apps, reporting your running data. So maybe walk us through some of these next points, right? What we have done in this space and what are the rules regarding these spaces.
So yes, the key rule is to run a minimum of 2 kilometers a day, and then the next thing is how do you let us know that you have done your 2 kilometers?
Most important
So
point. Yes.
yeah,
How do
that's
you
the
how
most
do you
important.
how you as a participants are going to inform the organizers, inform the team that you
Yeah,
have completed this run, right? Has to be some mechanism, and Mayank is going to talk about that now.
yeah. So there are two simple ways to do that. So if you're using any of the apps which are there on the screen like Strava, Garmin, if you have a Garmin device, or from the mobile apps, if you're using Strava, MapMyRun, or Google Fit, you can simply go on to the HDOR app or to the website. Under your profile section, there's a section called Connected Apps, and you simply authorize these apps. And once done, after that, whenever you go out for your run, we get a notification from the respective apps and we pull out your data and we map it to the event. So for you, it's a piece of cake after that. You need not worry about your data submissions. Probably you can have a look on how you are going, your daily averages, and where do you stand on a weekly basis or maybe on a daily basis, whatever you feel like. But yes, once connected, then the data import is all automatic. You need
Then
not
it's
worry
about
about it.
then I think it's all about pressing the start button and the stop button either on your watch or in the app. That's
Yes,
it. It's
correct.
as
That's
simple
it.
as that.
Yes. And if you are using any other app which probably is not listed here, then there are two ways out. Either you can look out for an option where, from any other app, if you can push data to either of these apps. For example, Google Fit has options to pull up data from a lot many devices and lot many other apps. So either you can do that and then the data can flow in, or if you don't want to get into that hassle of having Google Fit just for the sake of the sync, you can use the manual submission which is there on both on the app and the website. And if you're submitting, if you have done anything less than 5 kilometer, we don't even ask for a proof for it. We trust you. And if you're doing more than 5 kilometers, then also we trust you. But just to maintain the sanity of the event, to maintain the transparency, we have a rule that you have to submit something called an activity link. An activity link is nothing, it's simply a URL on which your data is available, so that anyone who is part of the event or any other participant can go and check that link and check your run. So that's where it is. So anything, if you're doing less than 5 kilometers, so for many beginners, those who don't want to get into that hassle, or people those who don't want to carry a phone, they're going for a 15 minutes walk or a 20-minute walk. Probably that taking 2 rounds of your society is about 2.2 kilometers, and you are doing it daily. You simply come back to the app and say that yes, I have done my 2.2, 2.5, whatever, in so much of time, and you're done. So even that's possible. So yes, that's how the whole data submission works. And from my side, the recommendation would be that if you are using an app through which automatic data sync is possible, go and connect your app. It will make your life very, very simple. And another point which I would like to mention here, from a privacy perspective and from a security perspective, is that now, earlier it was a mandate from our side that your Strava activities or your Garmin activities need to be public. You were supposed to share it with everyone. We have removed that. You can keep your activities private, and we will still import it. And any activity which gets imported, we get all the splits made at our end, and we display that. So if you are not comfortable making your runs public because they have your location, they have where you are running, I think we have got few participants, especially the females, raising concern around it. So that's a big step from our side. And another point which I would like to mention here is that in case of Strava, Garmin, and Map My Run, your data, once you are done, as Tanvi said, once you have pressed the end on your device, if it's Strava and Map My Run, then your activity should be visible on HDOR, both mobile and web, within 15 minutes. On Garmin, as soon as you sync your device with the Garmin Connect on your phone, again within 15 minutes, the activity would be visible on the HDOR. For Google Fit, it might take up to 24 hours for your activity to get synced. And for Google Fit, you have to make sure that when you see an activity, which you have recorded using Google Fit, or if it has come to Google Fit through some other channel or through some other app, so just make sure that you go to the Google Fit app, check your journal tab, which is right there in the between, the 3 tabs on the Google Fit app. The middle one is the journal tab. You check that out, and you make sure that your activity is visible there, and it has the splits over there. If you, again, I would like to, another point, if you go to Google Fit app and you simply say that I've run 10 kilometers and you manually add it, sorry, we will not import it. That holds true with all the apps. So it has to be a run which you have recorded using these apps. So if you just add data manually to these apps, system will automatically detect it and ignore it. Any data which is not getting imported will be visible under a section called skipped activities. On both mobile and web, we have recently updated our section, the entire section where we display, all the activities which you have done. So right now it's a tab kind of a view where you get to see all your runs, your rides, your steps, and then a section of skipped activities. So everything is there now on the one screen. And yes, and another thing which we have added over there is an option to see your weekly progress. We are showing your data of 7 days in a graphical format, and you can compare the last week and this week. Yeah, I think, Tanvi, that's it.
Yeah, so let's take a look at some questions, right? They're coming up, and this would be a good time to answer them. We had Adidas running. Can it be synced to HDOR? Earlier, we used to do that, right? Runtastic used to export their data and make it available to be synced, or they had an activity tracking link earlier, but then they
Yes.
changed the platform. They made it very a closed platform. They stopped sharing any information. So now it is not possible for us or you to share the data from Runtastic or Adidas running. So that environment is now no longer supported. It used to be supported earlier because that's the way they
Yeah.
did it earlier. It's no longer supported. So Sneha had this question about Adidas running. Let's see. We have a question from Vinay. Vinay is asking whether fitness his Honor 4 fitness band is supported. So typically, these bands, again, they are very similar. Like I mentioned about Adidas running, right? They have their own environment. They have their own um, display capabilities. They have their own apps in which you can see that. But please remember the requirement for this event and for HDOR platform is that your data should be available publicly, so that or should be available somewhere so that when we demand it we can see it. So it has to be there in the form of an activity link, which you can share with us. Activity link or a URL will have details about your activity, like your run distance, your pace, your splits, all those things, right? We need to see that to confirm that that run, that activity was valid activity, right?
Right.
And many of these fitness bands are not able to provide that link. If they are able to provide that link, if they are able to show something which is having all of this information, then you can copy that link from the app of this band and paste it on the HDOR application or website to submit your data. That is possible. But if your app, if your band, if your watch does not provide that activity link, does not publicly share data so that others can see it, then there is no mechanism to submit that data on HDOR, right? You can understand that. So if that is the challenge, then the system is unable to take this data. And we have listed all of this on a page in our website. We have mentioned what are the supported apps, what are the supported devices, what are the devices which may not be supported because they cannot do this. So please take some time to go through that and you will know more. I believe that it would be unlikely that the Honor 4 fitness band would be able to share this kind of data.
Tanvir, here I want to add something. Like we get many queries from our participants.
Mhm.
Uh, Many devices can these Honor or MI Band or
Mhm.
Galaxy Watch. There are so many bands are available in the market.
Right.
They can be synced with the Google Fit or Strava. But what happens when data is not the splits are not passed to the Strava, or
Google Fit.
in that case also we miss the auto import. So participants should also see the manual of their variable, whether that is passing a split or not to the Google Fit or Strava.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have more similar questions from other people asking about, for example, Amazfit GTR watch app, which gets synced to Strava. I use that app and I'm able to export my data to Strava, and from Strava, HDOR app is able to pick it up and import it. So yes, that is valid, right? The key thing is your data should either finally come to Strava, Garmin app, MapMyRun app, Google Fit app, or it should be available as a public activity
Link.
link. You have to meet one
Yeah.
of these two conditions. If your watch or app or device meets one of these two conditions, you are good to go. If it does not, then you are not good to go. You have to look at some other alternatives. Another question, Sunto app is a Sunto watch is a question coming from KS Anand, is a very popular brand of watches, and I am sure they will be having data export to some of these popular platforms. It's one of the it's one of the high end devices. Of course, they have their multiple device categories, but Sunto is a well known brand, and I'm sure they would be exporting data too. We do not have any automatic import for Sunto or their app, but if your app data or device data is going to Strava or let's say Google Fit, then HDOR can pick it up from there. So you have to ensure that is happening by looking into the Sunto supporting documents.
I think they have support to
I'm sure they
Strava.
must be having it. Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if anybody else has a word. There was one more question I think which I'm missing. Honor band is covered. Uh, okay, I think we have covered the app related, watch related questions for now. People are asking about walking and indoor activity, which we are going to, let's move to the next page because that's where we are going to cover the next set of rules. So okay, so what do we have here? You can do walks, right? Just like you track a run, you just do a start and a stop, and that's it, right? Your activity will be recorded as a walk, whether it's on Strava, whether it's on a Garmin watch device, or whether it's on any of those supported apps. The rules, as far as 100 days of running events go, in terms of activity data import, are same for walks and runs. There is no difference. Mike,
Correct.
anything else to add to that aspect?
No, no,
No.
no. I think that's it.
Okay. And the next important thing which a lot of people ask about is treadmill running or indoor running. Now this is very important because this is going to answer a lot of things about, it's raining outside, what do I do? I cannot go outside, there is COVID restrictions, there is a weekend lockdown. Hopefully we are getting into better times and better space now, so that those sort of restrictions are gradually going to go away and you will be able to run on your own freely without such limitations. But if there are some challenges, then how do you manage that, right? And some of those answers are going to come from indoor running or treadmill running. But please remember, there is this is a very important aspect of it. uh, Indoor data can only be captured on devices which support indoor tracking, and those devices are some of those GPS watches we see, whether it's a Garmin watch or a Sunto watch, or whether it's a Amazfit watch, or probably a lot of these GPS devices. All of them have something called an indoor running mode, which
Yeah.
when you turn it on, it starts recording data based on your steps, right? It keeps track of how you are moving and tries to do an approximate distance calculation, which it captures, and then HDOR is able to get that information. But Mayank, let's talk about apps. Can any of the apps we see people using? A lot of people are just dependent upon apps, right? And from whatever I understand, apps do not support indoor tracking accurately. There is no valid data. It's all a mess basically when it comes from indoor, mobile apps.
So yes, Tadbir. In so the the as you said, even for the watch, what we have to make sure that we are doing something indoor, we select the indoor mode. Even on a watch, even on a Garmin watch, if I am indoor and I just as a habit, if I am just I just press start and go, then by default my watch is into that GPS mode, and the data which will be recorded is all going to be missed. The same holds true with our mobile apps. There are few mobile apps which help us record the indoor, the indoor activity, whether it's an indoor walk or indoor run for that matter. So that's there. For example, for all Android users, on most of the latest smartphones, Google Fit has the capability to record your indoor run or indoor walk. When you open the Google Fit app and you say that I'm going to record an app, you have to make sure that you select indoor walk or indoor run, or maybe the option is treadmill run or a treadmill, something of that sort. But yes, you have to make sure that you're selecting the right mode. When you are indoor, your GPS signal is definitely very poor, and you cannot expect accept an app to record when you're moving inside your house based on GPS. So
So Mayank,
selecting the
You're saying that besides these watches, I think you're saying that a Google Fit app on your mobile should be good for recording the
on
indoor
Android, on
on
Android,
Android.
on Android,
Okay. And similarly
and
for people on
for
the iOS
similarly,
base.
yeah, for people on iOS, they can use Map My Run.
Okay. So
For anyone who is having an iPhone 7 or above, the
mhm.
basically from iPhone 7, I think, or a particular model, one of those, the iPhone introduced a motion sensor, which is again, as I said, for the Android also. Basically the phone has to has that hardware, and if that's there, then people can use Map My Run on on iOS devices. And again, the app has an option to record an indoor activity. You have to use that option and then record, and then yes, on the app you will be able to see your splits and everything. And definitely, when you are doing indoor, it's always going to be an approximation. It's never going to be 100% accurate. So yes, so for off days when we are when we have some restriction of going out, or maybe we couldn't go out during the day, and we are about to miss, then yes, we can do that.
So to
So
summarize, Mayank, we are recommending for indoor distance tracking. If you are using, you can use these watches which have the capability to track distance indoors. That is one. If
one,
you have
right,
Android devices, you can use Google Fit to track
correct,
distance indoors. And if you are on the iOS side, iPhone, then you can use Map My Run, which
yes,
on iPhone is enabled for indoor distance tracking also.
correct,
Latest,
correct,
latest,
correct,
latest app versions and latest iOS models.
correct.
Okay, let's see some more questions. Uh, Question on Amazfit device, which was synced to Google Fit. If something is going to Google Fit and you have connected
Yeah,
Google Fit to HDOR, the data is going to come in. But again, please remember the event is still a few days away. Take your time to test all of this right now. You don't need to wait to the last day of before the event starts to figure out that it was not working for you, and then you
correct,
have to you start panicking. Okay, what can I do now? You don't need to go into that phase. If you have you need to test it right now. Whatever your device you have, whatever app you have, connect it with HDOR if it is possible. If it is not possible, confirm whether there's an activity link which gets generated from the app, and submit it on HDOR today, tomorrow. Don't wait for 24th of July to come and then find out that it is not supported. So okay, there's some more questions. What about Pacer to track indoor activities? Yogesh, I think I did not fully understand that. What do you mean by a Pacer to track indoor activity? We mentioned about what are the ways in which you can track activity indoors. We just covered it in this section. So I think you would have to refer to those supported uh, devices and apps only.
and apps. Yeah.
Then KS Anand has a question about max distance allowed indoors. We won't have any such limits because you are uh, capturing that in a valid way using some of these devices. So it's valid data. So we do not have any such limits. What else? Sneha has a question about treadmill
Yeah.
walk run on Google Fit. Yes, that is indoor mode tracking in Google Fit and which we support. So that covers our key event rules section 2. And with that, we move
Uh,
on. Yeah, you have any
Tanvir,
questions, man?
Tanvir, I would like to
Sure.
mention one thing is
Mm-hmm.
the last point written on the slide is submit activity data within 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is
Oh,
the two most important rules
the last
of
two
the
lines.
event are, yeah, the
The
two
last two
most
lines.
important rules of the event are you have to do 2 kilometers a day. And the next most important rule is that you have to let us know about doing those 2 kilometers within 10 days. If I'm, for example, if I have done something on 1st of August, then the last day for you to submit that data is 10th of August. On 11th of August, even if you have all the proof, we will not be able to accept that data. So please make sure, that on a weekly basis, maybe every Sunday, you can check if your data for the last 7 days has already synced in. And if it has not synced in, please do submit it manually. Please do reach out to us. It's your responsibility to make sure that your data is visible on the HDOR app. If it is not coming for any reason, please, as Tanvi said, there are still 10 days, 12 days for the event to start. Let's do all the troubleshooting. Let's have everything in place and keep checking. So the 10-day rule is very important. Let's make sure that we don't miss it. And the next thing is on HDOR as a platform, not only for 100 days of running, we don't accept any screenshots as an activity proof. So either you submit manually, even if a situation arises for any reason in the world, your phone, battery died off, I forget to switch on my device, there was a problem with my phone, my watch died out, whatever, could be anything. If there is some challenge of nothing is working out, I would recommend go and submit whatever you can without a proof as well. So we have already covered, you can submit a distance up to 5 kilometers without any proof. use that if for any reason you are not able to submit the actual data, so that you don't lose out on your number of days. The number of days is the key here.
So there's a question from Sumi saying, can we add cycling to the event? Well, we have another event for that actually, right, Mayank? So we have an
Yeah,
event called Tour de 100. It's a similar kind of concept, but in a different way. It's a cycling challenge spread over 100 days. A lot of challenges within those 100 days. So you
correct.
should be able to hear about it very soon. It's coming up soon. All right. So good to go to the next section, guys. Then.
Yeah, I think yes.
Okay, so this section is about the new rules in 2021 edition. And maybe we can talk about the motivation behind why we introduce these rules in the 2021 edition.
Yeah.
So
So
the first,
I
go
yeah.
ahead, Mike.
So the very first thing, the biggest change which is coming to the event is that we will be accepting one activity per day. So I think Kuldeep already clarified that the 2 kilometer distance has to be done as part of the single activity. But then, if you are running in the morning and again in the evening, or maybe if you're running more than once a day, only one activity will be counted towards the event. All other activities will be visible under your HDOR profile, under your activities section. But as far as 100 days of running is concerned, only one activity per day will be counted towards the event. And if you are doing multiple activities, the longest activity would get counted. So for example, if I did a 3 kilometer run in the morning and I had some time and I went again in the evening and I did a 5 kilometer, then my 5 kilometer run would be counted for the day for 100 days of running.
And why did we do this? That's the next question, right? So over the past several editions, we have seen that finally what was happening was it allowing multiple activities across the day was leading to a lot of unhealthy competition, unhealthy discussion, a lot of negativity in the event. Some people were running across the day basically with any with hardly any regard to their health, or unnecessary spending time challenging themselves to do like 5 activities, 10 activities, 15 activities, maybe even 20 activities in a day. And that is something, that was the kind of culture we did not want to promote as part of this event. No, we do not. You can do this, you can do, okay, do a good long run, right, if you want, but doing it as multiple events just because someone else is also doing it and you do it in the day, and then you see someone doing in the afternoon, and then you start doing it in the evening, and someone does it in the late evening. No, that is something we wanted to move away from. And that was the key motivation of, it's not about complexity. We have developed systems which are way complex and are able to handle all those complexities. We have already done that. Now we want to simplify for the sake of the participants, simplify for the sake of the well-being of the participants, and have a good, healthy, competitive spirit. That was the
Yeah.
motivation why we came back to simplicity, one day one activity kind of setup. And we hope that this works out well. We also are trying out these things as experiences for us.
Yes.
These are new things for us. We want to try, we want to give it a good shot and see how it turns out, right? If it is something which, if we feel that participants are truly appreciating it, it's okay. If not, we'll think about what can be done further to refine the experience. But our goal is to provide the best experience for you guys, for the participants. What else do we have here, guys? Kuldeep, what is the most interesting other point you find out of all these new rules coming in?
Yep. So all these changes are very interesting. So we have point based leaderboard this year, because last year many were like many were having a time dependency, so they were able to run 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer, and few were having a luxury of time, so they can walk for throughout the day. So people were like concerned, like how we are putting our effort, we are running for 10 kilometer in an hour or 50 minutes, but other
Right.
people are doing 20 kilometers in 5 hours.
So how do we reward those people who
Yes,
are running faster, right? Who are actually better runners, in the sense that better runners in the sense that they have this ability to run faster, and this that
Correct.
deserves some sort of reward, Mank.
Yeah. So that's where we came up with the thought of point based leaderboard. So for every activity you do, the points will be awarded on two criterias. One is your mileage, and second is going to be the pace. And yes, so there is a limit. For example, if any of your activity can give you mileage points, which is like 20 mileage points, for example, if you get the maximum pace points which you can get is 50% of it, which is 10 points. And if you are doing it really slow, then you will get zero pace points. So that's how we have we're trying to, as Tanvi said, we're experimenting and devising a system whereby we are in a position to reward people, those who are running fast, and at the same time we are not leaving behind those who are a bit slow, or those who are walking. So it's not about pushing you to go fast, but it's about just making people, those who are going fast, those who are putting an extra effort, it's about just rewarding them, just to make sure that they also feel, they feel good about it.
So to answer the
And
case, Anand, I think what Mank you are trying to say is the pace rewards can be up to 50% of the distance rewards, because
correct, that's the maximum.
that's the maximum, Mr. Anand. That's what we want to share. The pace points can go as high as up to 50% of your distance points, distance based points, um, and as low as zero, depending
Correct.
upon if your pace was slow. So maybe we will do a social media post mentioning details about all these things, but at a very abstract level, that is what we are considering.
Yeah. And the other most important thing for the pace points is that pace points will only be rewarded for activities which are auto imported onto the platform. For data which is being manually submitted, we will only be rewarding the mileage points. So again, that's one reason, or maybe that's another recommendation, that to get maximum out of your efforts, please try to go for an auto import kind of a setup for all your runs. And for the next point, I think, which is privacy, we have already talked about it as part of the initial slides. And the last point is, I think, Chandan and Tanvi, you guys would like to talk about the
Yeah,
new
yeah,
leaderboards.
new leaderboards. So we have a separate slide for that. I think that's next. So this is where we
Perfect.
just mentioned that we have something new coming in terms of couple and family and friends leaderboard. We had, let me look at. I had a question from somewhere. Sagar, I think. Yeah, that's what I was trying to look for. Sanket, sorry. Sanket is asking, can I run 4 kilometers in one day and submit data for 2 days, 2 plus 2? So Sanket, no, that unfortunately is not supported. You will have to, every day's distance is considered only for that day.
Correct.
Okay, with that, let's go to the next section, which is about the new team challenges. More fun with your spouse, with your family, and with your friends. Right. This event is also, it initially started with personal challenges, but now it's gradually moving where we want to encourage family fitness, where we want to encourage fitness in the community, in your friends. Right. Motivate others, get motivated by others, and these new team challenges can probably have more bonding being developed with your spouse, spending some quality time with her or him, and similarly, uh, take up virtual challenges with your friends also. Maybe you don't all need to run together, but form a team. So what is it like? Let's take a look at this format. Chandan, maybe you want to take a brief us about the format of this thing. So we have these multiple types of teams.
Sure, then I'll take it forward. Um, so the idea was two pronged, right? One was that maybe teams can participate together, and the idea is to make people adopt fitness. Again, the idea is always to have fitness as part of your routine, and not as something which is disrupting your routine or due to which you have to compromise certain things, right? So when we spoke to some of our participants, we noticed that when there are couples, so only one member of the couple, either the husband or the wife, was taking up running, and the other member or the other spouse was not able to take out time. And likewise, in a family, right? When one person dedicates himself for running, the other three members probably have to, share some kind of a household load. So we thought and we brainstormed and we came up with this idea of having team participation. What this team participation does is that it offers a way of participating in 100 days of running as a couple or as a family or as a friends. What that would mean is that if you are participating in 100 days of running as a couple, you are your objective is to complete the 100 days of running event together. That means that every day, if you are participating as an individual, you have to go out every day for at least every day, so that your participation for that day is counted. Now, in couples team, either of the two members can go out for a run, and your participation for the day is counted, right? So, if suppose me and my wife participate in this event, we can plan our schedule accordingly, so that I can go on Monday, my wife can go on Tuesday, and then I can go on Wednesday, and my wife can go on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so on and so forth. So, what we are exactly doing is that instead of one person dedicating his time for the event, we are, easing or making it easier for a couple to participate in the event together. What we want to achieve from this is that, couples to motivate or family members to motivate each other
Each other.
to adopt fitness. It's not only about one. So, if there are four people in the family and one person is super fit and the rest and the remaining three are not that fit, that's also, not the objective, right? We want everyone to be fit. So if you want, you can participate as a family of four. Monday, one person goes, father goes. Tuesday, the mother goes for a run, and Wednesday, one of the child goes for a run, and Thursday, the brother or the sister goes for a run. Likewise, for friends, the idea is that you guys, if you are motivated to run, motivate your couple, motivate your spouse, motivate your family members, and participate as a team, right?
Right.
When it comes to the leaderboard and the qualification, so if we have a rule of, let's say, 40 days minimum, if you have to complete for this 100 entire days, this would mean that for you to participate as a team, either one of you can go and make your team count, right? So exact point calculation and
Yeah, Mayank can probably do a brief touch up about that, right, Mayank?
yeah.
Yeah, I can take that up. So as a, if you're participating as a couple, as a family, or as, if you have just made up a team of your friends, so these, first of all, these are the three different team options which you can go and make right now. You can just go to your just, if you have already registered for the event, just go to your dashboard onto the website. As of now, this option is available only on the website, so you have to go and log into your HDOR account, and then on your 100 days dashboard, the place where the countdown timer is coming, you have to just go there, click on the team, and you can, make up your team. And the idea is that, even, if I am finding it tough, that, I see that I can't do all 100 days, I'll end up missing every Sunday because I have some other commitments, then I just loop in my spouse, or I loop in one of my family members and saying, boss, I can manage 90 days, can you help me do these 10 days? And that person goes and does those 10 days. So as a family, or as a couple, or as a, as a team, we have done 100 days. Although, our individual dashboards will show that we have respectively done 90 days or 10 days or maybe whatever days. So your individual dashboards, or the way reporting your, you will still be part of, you're still participating in the event as an individual. All your stats on an individual level will be tracked, but at the same time, you are doing something together which brings in that bonding, and you're passing on your habit of being fit to your family members, to your friends, to your spouse. So for the leaderboard part, again, for 100 days, it has always been 100 days. So if any one of the team members, if it's couple, then either of the two. If it's family, then either of 3 or 4 people, and then same with the friends. If any one of you go out and do your 2 kilometer, then your day is ticked. You have done that day. And then after that, the next criteria is going to be the how what is the average number of points you are accumulating as a team per member. So if for a couple, it is always going to be the number of points you have accumulated on a per person basis. For example, my one of my runs get me 50 points. My spouse goes out and she gets 40 points. The total is 90. The average comes out to be 45. So that's what will matter. So if there are 5 couple teams, all of them have done their 100 days, then the team which has more average number of points, then that's where the ranking will take place. So why we have taken points per member is because for the family and the friends, it could be a team of 3. We're not forcing people to have 4 members. So just keeping that flexibility in mind, the criteria is points per member.
So I'm
And
just
as you
highlighting
know, yeah, Tanvir is highlighting some of the team
something.
names which have already been created. So yeah,
So
thank
total
you guys
of
for taking out time and creating the teams. That's really
So
awesome.
we have a lot of teams already created, right? And we encourage both family teams and couple teams, and run with your friends teams, right? These are the 3 kinds of teams we have enabled in the system. So please feel free, right? Make it more exciting for you. Make it more exciting for your friends, and maybe provide some level of challenge also. Let's try to do
Yeah,
our best as a team. Let's try to do our whatever. It's not necessary that you have to be at the very top, but
correct,
let's see what we can do when we 4 of us connect together and make maybe inspire each other, right? Because then we will avoid procrastination, skipping the runs, because we know that okay, our friend is right over there, he's waiting, he's depending on me to
correct.
uh, to have a good position of our entire team. So let's try to do our best, and there are some rewards for the top teams also, which will come to in a later section. Mike, maybe I had a question from a few folks about, just add some more specifics around the pace points once again, maybe. Just take a few moments about this.
So yeah, so
People
I
were
can.
asking, people were asking about what is the acceptable pace to differentiate walking from running. So they want to know a bit more about pace.
So I can do that.
Mhm.
So basically, you get the if you are running at a pace of 5 minutes per kilometer, that's where you get the maximum pace points. And if you are running slower than 15 minutes per kilometer, that's where you get no pace points. So that's the range.
That's a good, yeah. That's we'll provide the specifics in due time. But I think that summarizes the key aspect
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
pace points.
So based on
Mhm.
where your average pace lies, based on your elapsed time, all the pace points will be awarded based on the elapsed time. If as per elapsed time, your pace is either 5 minutes per kilometer or faster, then you get the maximum points. And if it is slower than 15 minutes per kilometer, doesn't matter how slow it is, then you get no pace points. You only get mileage points. And anything between that is interpolated. So I think that's the whole that's the whole summary about it.
And this one was also a very important question, because this also comes into play. Can we take breaks of 10 minutes in between, and that will be taken into account or not?
Yes, that will be, if it is a single activity, then those 10 minutes will get added to your elapsed time, and they will be accounted for calculating the overall average pace of your run.
All right, so let's move to the next section then, which is about contests and giveaways. Okay, so we have a lot of interesting stuff we want to share. Uh, and who would like to take this up?
So this year, Chandan, sorry, Tanvir, I'll start with it. So
Mhm.
we have some good partners on board. We have Brooks, the one of the
Um,
leading shoe companies. Then we have Nivea, and then we have Fast Enough. So from Brooks, we are getting for all our participants, we have 45 goodie bags. We have 13 pair of Brooks running shoes, and then we have a special goodie bag which will be given as part of a contest. So all these goodie bags and the shoes and the special goodie bag, all these will be awarded as part of the contest which we will run during the 100 days. And then next we have Nivea. They have a range of product called 42K. I think Chandan will take it up. What thought process Nivea has and what kind of products they have to help us out for the runners and the kind of rewards which are coming from them.
Sure, thanks, Yap. After Brooks, we have very reputed the Nivea 42K brand. So Nivea 42K brand is specially designed for endurance sports. And from Nivea 42K, we'll be having, firstly, we'll be having some discount vouchers for all the participants, right? And apart from the discount vouchers, we would be having a lot of contests. So this the entire 15 weeks of 100 days of running, we are having lots and lots of contests, guys. So it's going to be super exciting for you, right? And we are making sure that for these entire 100 days, you are all pumped up and you're all connected with each other, right? Even if we are, physically maintaining social distancing, but virtually we'll all be connected and we'll all be participating in these contests, which are going to be super exciting, right? All these giveaways which are associated with these contests, they tell something about the brand, right, and what they want to promote. So Nivea 42K will be coming out with their 50 goodie bags. There are two types of goodie bags. One is the large goodie bags and some small goodie bags. These goodie bags will have the products for hygiene related products and for products which will help you in your freshness. Going out for a run, you have some anti-chafing creams. You have some washes, some bathing products, and some deodorizing products as well. Apart from that, we also have very exciting, cool-looking Nivea Dry Fit T-shirts, which will be approximately 200 will be distributed across the 100 days, right? Uh, Nivea 42K is wants to have people for a long run, right? We are talking about endurance. We're talking about people going out and giving out something which is, you know, which talks about endurance. So these t-shirts will be part of the contests, which will be some weekly Sunday contests. And in addition to that, there will be Go Noise watches, which will be distributed. See, all the contests and all the rules of the contest will be communicated very clearly on our website and our social media posts. So I request everyone to read the contest related rules clearly and do participate in them, right? And just use this platform as a festival, right? It's not only an event. We're talking about 100 days of running festival, right? Uh, that's it. I think from India 42K, and then we have Fasten Up also. They will be coming out with some discount vouchers to be won across the 13 contests. Right? Um, that's it. I think
Okay.
good to keep everyone engaged for the 100 days, right?
Yeah, so we have like several hundred of these items waiting to be distributed as part of this contest. So
Absolutely.
just make sure you do not miss this opportunity, right? Uh, you have this all these nice goodies. All you need to do is just keep participating in some of these contests, and there's a high probability that you will win in probably in some of those contests. So that's the best we can hope. And our partners are definitely going out and making this extra effort to add value to the participants in these forms with these nice goodies. So yeah, let's try to participate, and you will have information about each of these contests coming very soon to you.
Yeah.
uh, all right, so next section is about event rewards. A lot of unlimited possibilities. Let's see what those possibilities are. I mean, we have a huge set of rewards coming up. Kuldeep, you want to walk us through some of these rewards here? There
Yeah,
are so many.
yeah,
Yeah.
so many, I
uh,
must say. So we have a top three for all the age categories, and both in men and women.
How
Okay,
many age categories, Kuldeep? Yeah, because we have an amazing number of age categories this time around.
right.
We have 13 age
13 age
categories.
Uh,
categories.
13 age categories.
So
Every
13
five
in
years,
men, 13
every
in
5 years.
women.
Yeah, every 5 years we have an age category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many age categories trophy. Then we have a top five overall men and women. So it will be respective of their age category. We will be considering top five. So top five will be considered, or top three will be considered based on their points that we will be earning. That will be visible on our leaderboards. So that is the thing. Then of course we are encouraging couples, families, friends team, as we discussed in previous slides. So we are having trophies for them also. Top five couples, five families, friends. So guys, keep inviting your spouse, family members, friends, and join as a team. And you have another opportunity to win these trophies. So excellent idea. Then
Yeah.
we have, yeah. In team also we have a different concepts like all men where all the four members are male, and all female where all the members are female. Then we have mixed also. So it's another exciting concept that we have introduced for the trophies. So, and then we have trophies for running groups. We know many running groups participate in event, and they want to show their presence on the leaderboard, and they want to show, okay, this group is having these many people and that is their ranking and all those things. So yes, we have something this year for running groups also, because we were getting this feedback from last couple of years that nothing for the running groups. So this year we have for running groups and corporates also. So
Yeah, so Tony Bhai has a question about how to win the rewards. So you have to basically top any of these on the basis of the event leaderboard rules, right? The ranks. So, like Mayank explained earlier, you have to be, if you want to be on top of your age category, you have to top. Those leaderboards are decided first on the basis of number of days you run. That is the main criteria always. And if many people are tied on the same number of days, then their points are going to be mattered this time. Unlike last year, when the distance was mattering. So this time,
Yeah,
after people are tied on the number of days, number of points earned by the participants over the course of 100 days is going to come into play. So
correct.
that's how we will reward the participants based on their performance and their total number of days and points. So Mr. Haridas KP had a question about anything above 75 years. Mang, what's our highest age category? I
I
think it
think it's
must be pretty
70 and
high.
above. It's
It, it,
70 and above.
oh, maybe that's why he's asking for 75 years and above.
Yeah.
So, okay, so currently
So
the highest
exciting
age
to have,
category is. Mhm.
it's so exciting to have people like Haridas ji.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe we should think something about this,
absolutely.
because we have an amazing breakup in terms of people 70 years and above, taking and doing all this extra, take going out of the way to do something like this. I mean, it is fantastic. We
Yeah.
can only at this age, at our age, we can only dream about doing something like this at a grand old age.
I
So
will,
Correct.
whatever these guys are doing, it's so
Mind
amazing.
blowing.
yeah, great going, Haridas ji. Best of luck.
Okay, so what else do we have? Charity and fundraising updates, and I would need Mayank to probably talk about this a bit more. Yes. So what did we do differently this year compared to whatever we have done in the past, and we have tried to do some interesting things around this year.
Yeah. So, you know, it's always good to give back to the society. And in these current, the tough times, it has become much more important to, have all these, to have that feeling of giving it back. So we started doing the charity thing last year, where we as HDOR committed to donate certain funds based on how many days you guys do. So as 100 days, for example, if you do all your 100 days, then we donated rupees. I think we donated 20 20 rupees or 50 rupees. I don't remember the exact amount.
50,
But
I
yes,
guess.
based, yeah. So it was 50 rupees for 100 days. If you do all your 100 days, we donated 50 rupees. So overall, last year we partnered with two NGOs, and we donated a total of about 3,50,000 rupees. And this year, instead of two, we have gone and we have partnered with five NGOs. They are listed on the screen. And we have also provided our participants an option that while registering for the event, if they want, they can donate to any of these NGOs. And yes, and there, that's how we, till now we have already raised about 2,40,000 rupees. So thank you so much, guys, for taking that extra step and helping us to raise the funds. For all of for the initial when the event registrations started, the option to donate was not there. So if you want to donate now, you can still go to the 100 days of running dashboard. You still have an option where you can donate. So let's see how much we can do. And then I would urge everyone to run as much as they can, because this year also we will donate 50 rupees for every, if you do all your 100 days, HDOR will donate 50 rupees as part of donation to these five NGOs, equally distributed among the all five. So let's see, let's raise the bar. And last year we did 3.5 lakh rupees. So this year let's target a bit more. Let's see where do we end up.
Yeah, and it's not just 100 days, right? We have different slabs. So even if you do like 90 days,
Yes.
contribution will be slightly less, but it will be there.
Mm,
80
yes,
days,
it will be
60,
there.
60 days, 50 days. So, all of us are contributing no matter whether you run 100 days or even lesser
Correct.
number of days. There is going to be some sort of contribution from your side
Yeah.
by us, without and directly being paid to all these partner NGOs.
Right.
Okay, so let's move to almost we are getting to the final stages of this session. Let's talk a bit about moderation challenges, right? This is a virtual event format, like you all know. Nobody's going and seeing other person run, right? And nobody's there on the starting line, right? There's nobody there on the finishing line. So all of these things lead to more challenges in terms of moderation. How do you decide whether the person is doing it correctly or not? And how can you disqualify somebody? What is a good run? What is a bad run? When can we take action? When can we not take action? There are, a lot of these challenges which we face on a day-to-day basis, and we try to do our best given the circumstances, given the kind of information we have. So let me first of all re-emphasize here, what do we do? What process do we follow? Because sometimes it leads to endless arguments among participants about why we did not disqualify somebody, why we did disqualify something. So I would like to talk a bit about that so that people know what's happening. So first of all, uh, whenever there is any run data, of course we expect that run data to have some splits. We expect run data to show, okay, what was the per kilometer speed which a person ran for all the distance which that person ran. And that is the key thing on which we implement moderation. If we find something suspect, and when we say suspect, we are looking at times which cannot be run, which are unrealistic, which can only be done using a ride. Those sort of things are the ones which are clear cut. Okay, there is no way a person can of our capabilities can run something below 3 minutes per kilometer as an example, because that goes into uh, beyond the world leader territory, right? It becomes like a world record. So anybody who we see is doing those kind of splits, is we are going to take some action on that. That action may be remove. If it is infrequent, very rare, we might remove that distance. We if it's more frequent, we might disqualify the run. If we see a pattern, we might remove that person from the event itself. So we can have various levels of actions depending upon how we perceive that person may have been using some incorrect, some fraud means of submitting data, maybe while by cycling or those sort of things. So that is one of the challenges, and that's how we take action upon it. Now people have constraints, people have complaints like, okay, this person did so many kilometers at this pace, right? And I know this person, and this person is not capable of doing that pace, right? Question is, can the organizing team take action on that aspect? So my comment on that is like, it is a virtual event, right? There are 15,000 participants. We do not know the profile of these participants, what are their capabilities. So the moderation action is limited with the sense, and what can a person realistically, what can a runner realistically do as part of a typical run, right? And if we see that whatever activity was done was realistic, it is possible. That person may not be able to do it, but we don't know that, right? It's a virtual event. We don't know whether that person XYZ is capable of doing that or not, on that day, on the next day, for the next 10 days, or for the next 100 days, right? So our actions are limited on the basis of what we think is realistic for somebody, not that person, somebody, to do that. And that's how we decide on the moderation actions which we take. That's our policy, that's the guideline, that's the guiding principle for us, whether somebody is capable of doing something like this realistically. If that person meets that threshold, if that person needs that bar, then it's fine. If that activity does not meet that bar, then it's not fine, and we take action. So we also depend upon you participants in this, as by because we have implemented a system by which you can flag bad runs. So we have a flagging system in place. You can go to the website, look through the participant data. If you think something is wrong, just put a flag against it, and it will come to our notice. We will review it on a day-to-day basis and take action on it. So that's something which we do on a regular basis. So yeah, that's what I had. That's what I wanted to speak about when it comes to moderation, because every year there are complaints. I know that there are challenges. I know that, and we try to do the best based on whatever evidence that comes to us. Any more comments from here, team, around this?
And also, I want to add, action will be taken after flagging. So flagging can be done anytime. It can be on the 100th day. It can be on the first day also. So sometimes we see we should take the action within the 10 days. So that's not possible.
Mhm.
Action can be taken anytime within the 100 days.
Okay. Uh, should we move ahead, folks?
Yeah, I think let's go ahead.
Yeah, let's. We have just a couple of more slides probably. This one is about your safety. Um, and the safety guidelines which you should be following, and we, this is not us speaking as medical experts, right? This is us providing some baseline advice for you in terms of what you should or should not be doing, right? Some basic guidelines. Follow, of course, your local advisory from your authorities or the government. uh, if, for example, if there is a lockdown, we do not expect at any cost for you to go out and run, right? That's simply not imaginable. We cannot do that. So we cannot violate any of these guidelines which have been put by the government for our safety, for our well-being, right? This is for us, and not only for us, for those around us. Because finally, you go out, you run, maybe you mix with some people. Where do you go back? You go back to your home, right? You go back to your parents, you go back to your kids, you go back to your spouse. We cannot risk having you taking, our any of our participants taking decisions which are going to risk the well-being of not only their, but their immediate family, their friends, or other people around them, right? So we have to be very socially responsible. That's what's the minimum we expect from all our participants: social distancing, wearing of masks at appropriate time. Of course, when they are running in isolation, mask wearing is actually, it has been proven as a dangerous thing when wearing mask and breathing, at the pace which we breathe, because that can inhibit the breathing due to the mask, right? So it's not a great idea to wear a mask when you are doing those sort of runs. So you have to make sure that you are running by yourself, you are not in groups, uh, and maintain social distancing. And of course, get vaccinated if you already haven't, right? If you have taken the first dose, look at when your next dose is coming up. I took my second dose yesterday, so I'm feeling quite good about it, that I'm done with both my doses. And I encourage all of you to get be proactive in getting to the vaccine so that we are able to solve this problem at the earliest, for not only for us but for people around us. Any other comments, folks? Okay, so with that said, let's go to the next. And like I said, if there is problem, if you cannot go out, try to follow the indoor running guidelines. Mayank provided a lot of details about how we can do that, what devices can we use, what apps can we use, what can you run with Android, what can you do with iOS. We have provided a lot of guidance in this session. Go back please and take a look at them once again, just to make sure that, maybe even test it out, right? Testing, that's the most important thing. You don't want to test on a particular day when you are unable to go out. You want to test today, you want to test tomorrow before the event begins. So do some indoor runs in the way in which we advise. Test it out now, so that in case there is a problem, in case you are unable to go out, there is a rain for 24 hours and Mumbai is just soaking wet, so you are able to handle it without being worried too much about you are going to lose your 100 by 100 streak, right? Let's not take it to the last moment. With that said, I think this is the last section of the day, where we are looking at doing the medal unveil. So maybe is Chandan doing the honors today about this? Mayank, who's doing the honors today for the medal unveil?
I have the medal with me
Yeah,
right now.
I think Chandan has the medal in his hand.
Okay,
So
let me
before
let
Chandan,
me
yeah,
uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, Mayank.
So before Chandan, unveils the medal, I would just like to mention one thing. You know, we have been working very closely, or probably a little hard, with our, with our partners, those who are helping us with building these amazing medals. And I would like to mention that we are the first ones to have the green medals. When I say green medals, these medals are 100% lead free
Yes.
and 100% chromium free. So this is something which is very important. And from an environment perspective, from the perspective of being environment friendly, so yeah, it's a big thing that we have been able to achieve it, and we have like 100% lead free, 100% chromium free metals. And yes, we have been putting a lot of energy into in designing the medals, and I'm really excited that now Chandan is going to unveil the final finished version of the 100 days of running 2021 7th edition medal.
All right, over to Chandan. Let's see how it looks like. We are excited to see
You
this
are
as well.
absolutely. I am equally excited. Been waiting for this moment. Right. So this is our box. This is our box. HDOR. Let's take out what we have here. Okay. Right. Nice.
That's a nice ribbon as well. Oh,
Yeah, it's a good lanyard. We might have some changes in this, but let's look at the medal.
all right. Can you just for a brief moment put it closer to the screen, just a bit more close? Yeah, that's perfect. Okay.
Yeah, how is it now?
Yeah, that's
You can
perfect.
see
Yeah,
the
Chandan, just hold it there for a moment. Yes.
Yeah, that's looking nice. I think the glass, the finishing on the medal has come out really well. I'm sure our participants are going to like it. Let's see the other side, right? How does that look? So this is having finisher and the 100 days logo, and the other side it's the HDR logo,
yes.
and the various design elements on this medal are representative of the global nature of this challenge, right? We have in the last 7 years, I think we have participants from more than 70-75 countries taking part in this event,
Yes. Yes.
and this is representing that global inclusive nature of the challenge, which inspires people across the globe, across age categories, across genders, across communities. That's the diversity of this event, and the message transform yourself, which you can see on the right hand side. That is what the change which we want to come inside us, right? That's the change we want to bring inside us. Transform yourself, challenge yourself. So that's
Yeah.
the message we are trying
Come
to
what
communicate.
may, we have to transform ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So guys, we have two variations for these medals. If you can see,
Hmm.
go into the details of how the every aspect of this medal is. These are all engravings, right? And this color, red color, is a fill. It's a lamin. It gives you a glossy finish. If you can see, it is the surface of the medal is shining.
So there's a road behind those steps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the engraving is filled with this very royal red color. The metal is finished in a silver finishing, right? So I hope
yeah,
the lighting is doing justice to the color, right? And
yes,
we have another variation for this, right? Give me a minute. I'll open the second box. Second box, second type of medal. Everything is the same, but just that we have a golden finish. The metal is finished with the gold.
So that is looking nice as well. Can we hold them maybe side by side just to give a sense of, maybe in this global, this one has the gold element more prominent, right? Let's try to place them side by side, just for the participants to have a view of what they think
yeah.
is looking better.
That's the
Maybe
perfect view. Yeah, that's
if
the perfect view.
if
Yeah,
you have any thoughts around what you think is looking better, maybe just drop that in the comments, and maybe just maybe we would like to, if we think that participants like one or the other much better in some sense, then maybe we would like to go in that direction. So
yeah,
please drop your comments on wherever you are watching this, whether on the Facebook social media handles or YouTube, and we will very soon decide upon the final medal copy or finish.
yeah. I think the middle design has come out really great, and thanks to our design team. And I think the big thanks to our partners who have put in all the hard work, to come up with such a awesome finish. Yes.
Nice. Yeah.
Excellent. So I think that
Like, shall I show her with the T-shirt, with the HDR T-shirt, right? How does it look?
Yes, Chandan.
Looks good.
Yeah,
I'm sure the
Chandan,
participants
all of us will have to wait
will,
for 100 odd
yeah,
days to get this. Yes, but yes,
will
it looks really exciting.
will definitely feel proud to wear that medal after 100 days, I guess. Yeah.
Till then, it goes back in the box, right?
Yeah. All right. So, okay. I think that was fantastic. I think we took almost close to 2 hours, man. This was a long session, 1 hours, 45 minutes, but that's what I
Yeah,
was expecting, right? We were not looking at rushing through everything and, just trying to do it for the sake of doing it. We wanted to spend that extra time because we want you, our participants, to, understand all these various intricacies and get all your questions answered. Hopefully, we tried to answer uh, your questions across the session, and hopefully you'll have a great 100 days of running once again this year. This is the 7th edition, so it's a nice lucky number. Hopefully in these tough times, in these challenging times, we can do the best we can and take up this challenge of
yeah.
100 days of running. So all the best and good luck. Thanks for attending this session.
All the best, everyone. All the best.
All the best, guys.
See you.
All right, take
Bye
care, bye.
bye.